Am I the asshole for checking out of parental duties after my wife said I'm not the father? My wife and I have been married for about 4 years. She brought 3 kids from previous relationships into the marriage while I have none. They moved into my house after the marriage because I live in a better school district. Obviously we've had our ups and downs, but overall it's been good until a couple of weeks ago when I woke up and found a large dent running down the entire passenger side of my car. The dent is about a hand's wide, starts at the front fender, and runs down all the way to the rear tire. I was furious and thought someone sideswept my car as it was parked on the street. I checked our doorbell camera to see if it recorded anything and was surprised to see our 16-year-old daughter sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night and driving off in my car. She later returned hours later stumbling into the house. Outside of those 2 events, the doorbell camera didn't record anything else but a couple of passing cars that didn't come close to mine. I angrily showed my wife the recording and told her our daughter needs to be punished, but she said that she'll talk to her. I argued that talk isn't enough, which led us into an argument. My wife argued that the new family dynamic has been hard on the kids, while I argued that it doesn't excuse the damage done to my car. I wanted her to agree to ground our daughter from social media and make her get a job to pay for the damage. We argued for hours until she said I don't get a say in any punishment because I'm not her father. That ended the argument and I walked off. Since then I've checked out of any parental duties. I've been an adult and still make sure the kids are safe and fed, but I haven't done anything a father would do. They had doctor's appointments last week for their checkups because they play sports in school and I refused to drive them, causing my wife to have to take off work. They start school next week and I've dropped them off ever since they moved in, but I told my wife she'll have to do it this year. She argued she can't because of her work schedule and I answered a mother would figure it out. She called me a child and to grow up. I think since I'm not the father I don't have to take on the responsibilities of one, but obviously she disagrees. Am I the asshole? Edit. I was angry when I wrote it, so I left out some info. My wife wants me to report it to my insurance as a hit and run. She said that way no one has to pay for it. I argue that I'll have to pay for it in the long run because they'll jack up my rates. I'm not ignoring the kids and I still talk to them daily. I just don't do or make any parental decisions like I stated above. Also, the other day our son asked me if he should play basketball or football and I told him to go ask his mother. Not the asshole, but your wife definitely is. What kind of mother is fine with her 16-year-old daughter stealing a car, driving drunk, and causing some sort of accident? If I did that I wouldn't have a social life until I went off to college. Not the asshole, OP. She later returned hours later stumbling into the house. But we all just gonna ignore the heavy implication here that her mom is refusing to punish her for drunk driving the car home while underage. Kinda weird, nobody is touching on that at all that I've seen. Edit posted while it was still in random mode from being a new thread. I'm glad I'm not the only one that noticed the fucking underage DUI in the post. Not the asshole. 4 years isn't a new dynamic. I am curious though, how do you see this strike working out? Ntar. Mom is an enabler. The kid must pay for the damages. If she gets away with this nonsense, she will likely end up in jail. BC no one understands her, etc. Don't cave. Not the asshole. I don't understand why your wife thinks there should be no or very mild repercussions. You don't say much about how she dealt with it. Your stepdaughter could have killed someone, including herself. Maybe it would have been better if she had been arrested. The damage to your car sounds substantial and presumably something or someone else has also been harmed. Not the asshole. The daughter could be jailed for grand theft auto, drinking underaged, and drinking while under the influence. A talk is not nearly enough. My wife wants me to report it to my insurance as a hit and run. So on top of everything else, she wants you to commit insurance fraud. She said that way no one has to pay for it. No, that way everyone has to pay for it, FFS. This woman has no moral compass. Lawyer up and cut your losses. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, she will throw it in your face whenever she doesn't agree. You're not the asshole. Your wife wants to have her cake and eat it too. If she is unwilling to discipline her kids but still expects you to carry the burden of raising her kids, that is insane. She's just using you at that point. It is not childish to expect reciprocity and respect in your relationship. If she can't provide that to you, she can leave with her kids. She made her point very clear and you have every right to die on this hill. I probably would too in your shoes. Not the asshole. Her daughter is a budding car thief and she is not concerned enough to punish her. The new dynamic is hard. Tell mom and daughter next time you are calling the cops and they can tell them about the new dynamic. A stumbling 16-year-old could have hurt herself and other people quite severely. She may be telling the wrong person to grow up, she needs to look in the mirror. Not the asshole. But this can't go on. Sit down and have a conversation. Either you get more control and are a real parent, or she does all the parenting, or you split. She can choose. Not the asshole. I don't understand why your wife thinks there should be no or very mild repercussions. You don't say much about how she dealt with it. Your stepdaughter could have killed someone including herself. Maybe it would have been better if she had been arrested. The damage to your car sounds substantial and presumably something or someone else has also been harmed. Not the asshole. I find it funny how people think they can play both sides. It don't work like that, lol. Not the asshole. Your wife cannot swim in the ocean and not get wet. If she wants you to help with the children and do all the things that a father would do, then she has to also give you the ability to punish the kids when they screw up. If she wants to be the sole parent, then you don't have to help with any of this stuff. You and her need to go to couples counseling immediately and figure this out moving forward. And no matter what, her daughter needs to pay for the car. Not the asshole. The fucking entitlement. You're good enough to use as an ATM or chauffeur, but when she needs punishment, you're not the father. If they're not your kids, then your wife should pay for the damages her daughter caused to your car out of her own money. I had a similar argument with my wife many years ago. You don't get to pick and choose when the step-parent gets parenting responsibilities. She doesn't get to make you dead when it is convenient and then dismiss you when she feels like it's all or nothing. Also, drunk driving a stolen car is a huge deal, especially since it's your car. She clearly hit someone else's car, God I hope with. You are correct, and oh, my parents broke up is not an excuse to do as you please without consequences. You have a marriage problem. Your wife is enabling your stepkids to disrespect you in your own house. You might not be their father, but it's your house and there needs to be a basic level of respect from the kids. Not the asshole, because simply talking to a 16-year-old about drunk driving isn't going to do anything. She needs way more punishment for that alone. She could have killed or been killed. Not the asshole, you are considered the father when it is convenient for your wife. The second it becomes difficult for your wife because she has to take steps against her daughter to raise her to become a decent human being, she chooses the easy way and say you have no word anymore. Yeah, your behavior is childish, but I can see no respect from your wife to you here. The solution from your wife is childish, too. You need to talk this out. Not the asshole. But this situation isn't tenable and you need to have another conversation with your wife. She needs to understand that she doesn't get the help parenting from you while she neglects helping you parent. She can't have it both ways. Either she wants you to have a parental role, with enforceable actions consequences for the kids, or she can do all the parenting. You also need to decide in the long run, if you're willing to stay in a marriage with a woman who has kids who won't let you be a parent to the kids. Not the asshole. Also, insurance guy here, please do not try to commit insurance